Hello everyone, you're welcome back to this video. Okay, so I'm just continuing our part 3 of CICD pipeline, and yesterday we were able to use our cheat sheet here, and we were able to come out with a testing environment in the, call it a local, and this is exactly the code that we used yesterday. And we were able to install Python, we were able to install CFF linked, and then we went further, with all these folders that we uploaded them in S3. We pulled them out and we developed all this path, and we ran our code and it was successful. So now today, before I go further, let me just briefly show you something. This is just a draft from my class, thanks to class space. Generally, this is just the path of CICD pipeline. Consider that we were here yesterday and we were able to develop our template, not call it us. The developers were able to get up with this template here, and we developed this app. And now with CICD pipeline, like we were saying today, we're going to be using our code commit and to do the deployment here. In AWS code commit, we're going to come out with call it source artifact. That was going to be the file that we'll be using called source artifact from this. And after from this, we're going to move to the next stage, which is going to be the build stage. And in this build stage, we're going to be building, we're going to be testing before we are doing any deployment. So once we are done with this build stage, we're going to come out with build artifact. And from the build artifact, now the deployment testing whatsoever environment is relying on the build artifact. So once we have the build artifact, we're going to be using a testing environment. For example, if we're using like US East 1, we consider it as our testing environment. And once we have tested everything and has been approved, then we can go further to deploy in the production stage in another region, production area. So, and once we are at this level here, we are doing our deployment using CloudFormation. Okay, and in CI/CD pipeline, we are automating the deployment of CloudFormation template. So basically, that's how that's going to be running. Okay, good. So if I come back up with this one here, this one was our cheat sheet, and this one is a history of the commands that we ran yesterday. And now from this command, you will have to come up with what is called a build spec. A build spec is very important. Build spec, I consider it as a process. It's, let me just show you like a sample here. This one is the one I've already prepped. Or if I could come here, this is a sample of a build spec. A build spec is just like a process. It's giving you the various steps that you're going to use in installation, in deployment, all those variables. Like it's coming back here, for example, installation. You're gonna put in the commands that you have to install. What are you installing? You echo what you are installing, the update, you do the installation, and then you go to the pre-build stage. What are you pre-building here? For example, look at what this one say, echo enter the pre-build stage. And then the build stage 2, you echo entering build stage, and what are you installing, and then the post build, all of this. So if you want to do, simply what you do is just copy from Google, and then you go to your Visual Studio Code, and you can be able to paste it there, and you edit it to fit your environment. And remember, once you're editing this, you have to make sure that it should look exactly like what you already built. For example, if I come to under command here, you remember very well that what we did yesterday, if I come to installation here, right, I install, what I did yesterday was Python 3. So I will have to type Python 3, and then the other commands that I used yesterday was this. So I will simply be going back to the testing that I did, you see all of these commands that are here. I will simply come back here, I will copy it, and I will paste it there. Like there's already in there, I will paste the same thing, just to make sure that I follow the right procedure. And when you paste this, you have to be very careful, because any mistake that you make here, it's not gonna work. So you have to make sure that you are doing it the right way. I have one that I've already prepped, the one I will be using to deploy, like this one here. So you'll be having your commands here, and then you echo installing CFN pip3, installing CFN. Come back here and I will show you. It's the same thing that we had here, sudo yum install python pip and so on, and then pip install cfn link. All of this is what we had. I'm using sudo here because I was working as the root user. So you come back to your build spec and you follow all those steps. In your pre-build stage here, you echo we are entering the pre-build stage. Come back to documentation, you see the same thing. Look at here, pre-build stage, echo entering pre-build stage. We basically copying everything from the documentation and editing it a little bit to fit our own environment. And you need to take a little bit of time to do it correctly, because if you rush on this, it's not gonna work. All right, so echo checking the version of Python installed. Python, of course, you know how to check it, Python -- version, and then echo if CFN link was installed and all of that. So in the build stage, we are echoing build stage started. This is a code that it's gonna run the date at which the particular date that you are actually executing this. And then we echo if the template is present, and then we list what is found here. And this path is very important. Remember that we use the same path here. This path here, where we have AWS code formation package, trying to identify the template, pull the template from S3 bucket, and then the output to a build artifact template.yaml. All of this very important. I was able to demonstrate to them to you in the other video. And if you come to your S3 bucket, you'll be able to see some of this, right? Like my S3 bucket is already prepped, and you see I had this one. All right, this one here, both dev source bucket pro 2, and then both the deployed artifact bucket. And I'm getting all of this from here, and I'm going back to my build spec and putting the same thing here. Look at this build artifact template, and then here both deployed artifact bucket. I have to, and then build artifact template. I have to get all of this and put them in my build spec. All right, and this will be the final zip file, build artifact template. And here, this is the output, and both deployed artifact bucket. So all of these steps are very important, and if you missed any, you're gonna waste a lot of time. All right, it's not gonna work. What I'm gonna do is, once you have this build spec file ready, we're gonna move straight forward to our testing environment. Our testing environment here, I'm gonna be using US East, Ohio. And once I'm in my testing environment, I can go to code commit. All right, so, and once I'm in code commit here, I can be able to create a repository. And with this repository, I'm gonna call this repository YouTube one, YouTube video. All right, something of that nature. Okay, from here I can create this repository. All right, this repository will be created, and I'm going to have to get this, and I'll take this to Visual Studio and clone it. All right, like I just copy it from here and I will come to Visual Studio. And first of all, let me check where I'm working. So if I come down here to my terminal, let me clear all of this. I will be looking at my present working directory, and I am working here. Let's just say cd dash, and then I will be here. All right, and I can then just paste this one here and clone this. All right, good. So I'm going to be cloning this here. Once I clone it, look at where I will be. Present working directory here, and I will cd. Once I clone it here, if you come back to this here, let's open it. You're going to see this repository. This is it here, YouTube 1. So what I'm simply going to do is I will cd to this, cd to YouTube 1. All right, and once I cd here, what I'm going to do is just list the items that are here, and you see, just say dash L. You'll see that there's no file in here, nothing is found here. So what we're simply going to do is we're going to bring in the files that we're going to use into this folder. All right, let's see if we can create one. And the first one that we'll be creating, again, I will call this again my build spec.yaml. All right, you have to be careful the way you spell it, because if you make a mistake, it's not gonna work. So this is it, and I'm not gonna be like trying to build something new. I already have it prepped, so simply I will go where I've already prepped it, and I will simply just copy it from there. I will paste it there. So something of this nature. All right, I will equally be creating another folder. This time around, I'll have to bring in the template that we'll be using for deployment. Remember, we were able to build a template, and that template yesterday we named it EC2 with custom bow vpc.yaml. So I'm going to use the same name. The reason why I'm using the same name is because I've already prepped the testing, the local environment. I'm using the same local, so much that I shouldn't have two different naming. I don't want to go back again to that environment. All right, so I'm still right here, and I'm gonna create another folder here, and this one again I will name it EC2 with custom bow vpc.yaml. So that is it, and like I said, I already have it, and simply from my prepping environment, I just copy the file and then I will transfer it there. Okay, you might have another way of doing it, but this is my own way of doing it. Once we have this here, remember I told you that once you're doing this, you have to be saving it. If not, if you always come back here to file here, you see this, you can save it, or you do auto saving, because if you don't save it or do auto saving, everything is not gonna be there. All right, and I could put like an index.html, but that's not very important since I'm not running a static website from S3 bucket. So good. So with that said, let me go up a little bit like this, close this one here, and back here, and I could say git status. Let's see what it will tell us here. Now git status is able to show us that we have two files here that are not committed. All right, so I'm going to be committing two. So what I will say would be git add, I'm committing all. So with this, again see, look at the git status here. All right, and see these two files are committed. Let me just already clear this. They are added. So they are added, not committed. So right here I could say git commit, good commit, Okay, I'm committing the file here, and I say use this for YouTube. Simple. I don't want to be. All right, there are two files that we're going to want to commit here, and I can go straight forward to say git branch first. Let me look at git branch where I am, like such, and okay, I'm in master. Okay, and then I can go further to say git post. There you go. So it has pushed this back to here. All right, and we look at our repositories. You should be able to see the new one that we just pushed. That's one. And if you open it, you'll be able to see the two files. So we have the build spec and EC2 with custom bow VPC. All right, good. So once this is done, the next thing that we're going to do is we can move to code pipeline. Code pipeline. Yep, right here. And once we are in our code pipeline here, we're simply going to be trying to see how we can create a pipeline. And here we can see create a pipeline, and I can call this my YouTube pipeline. And I know very well that here already I have build spec, and I have my template already prepped, so I have all of this. So I'm just going to be comfortably moving. Hopefully everything works well. So we have my YouTube pipeline, and I can move downward, leaving everything the way it is. And there is something here, use an existing new service rule. Here you have to create a rule in case you don't have any, because if you come here and you don't have a rule, it's gonna be kind of very complex for you. So like I'm saying, if you are here, you need to get a role, and what you are bringing here is the ARN of that role. And how do you create that role? I say you have to move to IAM. All right, you have to move to like IAM here. Once you are in IAM, you have to go to the role, and then you have to create a role. And this role is for what specific reason? It's for cloud formation. So you're looking at the service that you're going to be using, and the service that you're going to be using here is cloud formation. All right, so you take cloud formation and you take next, and then what will be the permissions that you're going to be adding here? Here you are going to be adding, for example, you're going to be adding IAM full access, and then you're equally going to be adding EC2 full access, like that. And then you're equally going to be adding another one depending on the rules that you need. There should be Amazon SSM automation something. Those are the rules that you're going to be adding. Okay, once you've done that, you go to next, and you're going to have this policy created. It's in JSON language, cloud formation, Amazon, and all of that. Once you have it created, you can just go for that and rename it, and so on. Describe what it's going to do. AWS cloud formation, create and manage stacks, and so on. So once you're done with that, you can then create the role. Okay, so if you come here and you see me clicking on it, see, these are all the roles that I've created so far. Even the last ones that we create, everything will appear here, and you can now use it, and that's it. Okay, so I will take next. So once I am here, the next question will be, where is my source document? And the source here, remember I was demonstrating to you that you have various stages, the source stage, and here is the source. Here is code commit. It could be GitHub. These are various sources that you can have. These are the various sources, anyone depending on where you are coming from, and I'm coming from here. So I get this, and it will be asking me what is the repository name. and I have this one YouTube 1, that is the name. And what is the branch? And the branch is master. If you come back here, you see that I was asking here that what is the branch, and the branch is master here. All right, so once you get that one, you leave everything the way it is here. All right, of course this is Amazon CloudWatch. So here it's CloudWatch is going to be doing a report. It's going to be reporting what is happening. All right, so I have not actually set it, but it's still going to monitor what is going on. And if I go to CloudWatch, I will be able to see what's going on. So simply I'll go to next, and here I'm already at the build option. So who is the provider here? The provider here now is CodeBuild. All right, I'm going to be using CodeBuild here, and I take CodeBuild, and the region where I'm working is in US. Is this my testing environment? So once I'm here, I can go straight forward to create a project. Once it's open here, you will ask me like, what's your project name? What's your project name? And my project name here is, I could call this my YouTube video project. Yes, that's much better. And so additional configurations are optional, just leave it the way it is. And then if you come here, the environment on demand, manage image, and EC2, of course. And then right down here, the operating system I'm going to be using is Amazon Linux standard. The image here, AWS CodeBuild. All of this is automatic. I'm not changing anything from here. And the latest version that I'm going to be using here is this one. That's fine. And then I can go further to a new service here, or existing service role. So I get it here, and once that has been done, now you go, it comes back here, and let me see, under additional configuration, I don't need to do anything here. And here we are build specifications. Insert a build command, or use a build spec file. Remember, we had a build spec file, so I'm going to take this one and I'll be using a build spec file. All right, so I'm using a build spec.yaml. That's the file that I'm going to be using here. It's already there. So once you're here, having all of this successful, I'm going to go to next, and now we're going to deploy stage. Okay, so at this level here, what we're simply doing is we are deploying, and using CloudFormation. Okay, so where are we deploying? We should be deploying this in US East 1. And then if we come here, what is the action mode here? Either we are creating or updating. And then the stack name. All right, it's asking me the stack name here, and that is the stack that I'll be using. And here it's asking me to specify the artifact, and I'm using build artifact. All right, and where is it going to be? What is going to be the file? So I will be using build artifact template, the YAML. Remember, I showed it to you. Okay, so this is going to be the path. And then here is capabilities is optional, but it could be capable of IAM and all the other things. So I'm just going to take IAM, the first one. And then role name, the same role. And then go for the advanced here. I don't think there is the parameters. Okay, now this is another very important part. There will parameters, especially something like the key name. So when you reach here, you have to input this. You can't put it by default, because the parameters here are going to be working depending on which region you are working. All right, so I have to copy this from here, and then I paste it. So once I paste it, the parameter name here is going to be the key name. All right, so this is going to be the key name. and then the value here is going to be the key name in the environment where I'm working. Then copy it, and then I'll come back here and go to the template here where it's under advanced, and then I will paste it there. Okay, so once that has been done, I will go to next and I will create a pipeline. So we're gonna see if our stages, the first stage is the source stage, it ran successfully. I'm gonna pause here and I'll come back when all the stages have run successfully, and I will show you how it is deployed. All right, see you in a while. All right guys, so we tried to run it and we had a rollback error here. So we're just going to see what the error means. So if you come back here, you can read the error, and it tells us that validation error dictated value EC2 with custom vpc.yaml at stack name failed to satisfy constraint. Member must satisfy a regular expression pattern A to Z or something like this. For example, Amazon Cloud Formation stereo code this error validation request and so on. So it's basically let me go back here and see. That's the same error here. So since it did not work here, what we're going to do is we're going to edit this. Let me come back here and say edit. So I'm going to be editing the one that failed. It fell at the level of deploy. Build stage was okay, source stage was okay, so it fell at this stage. So simply I'm going to say edit this stage, and I will click in here. Stack name, look at this. This is where it fell. This is a parameter that we need to enter here, and this was a wrong stack name, and that's where the problem is coming from, guys. So generally when you have this, you need to just look at it and be very careful, and you see where it's coming from. So I could call this EC2 with custom VPC. That's it. And I think with that error should be fixed. All right, and so I will say done and release, saved, and then I'll release. Yes, let's see what's going to happen now. So guys, you should be expecting that you can have errors once you do this. So everything is not just gonna be like boo, 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 boo. Now you can have errors, and when the errors they come, you need to read the message and interpret what it's saying, and then you try to fix it. So let's see. I'm just gonna give you some time, and then I'll come back to show you if it's done or another error came up. All right, thank you, and see you in a little while. Okay, it came back again with another error. Let's see. Go back. Let's see again. View. Okay, now look at the next error that it has here. Another error is parameter key name must have the value service cloud formation status code denied. So it says key value is the make problem. So this is the second one. So I'm going to come back again since it's deployed in. So I will go back again down, and under deploy, that's where I'm having a problem. I say edit this stage, and then let's do this. All of these other areas are fine, but it has a problem here, and I use this key and it did not accept it. Oh, look at this key name. I think, is that what I put? It should be key name. All right, I'm gonna save it. Done. because I use the exact key which I consider it to be right. So, and then save and then release. All right, give it a minute and then come back again and let's see if it's gonna run. There you go, successful, guys. That's it. We succeeded in deploying this, and this is our code pipeline. Yeah, successfully run, and it's perfect. All right, so far it's good. With this is running and it's perfect. And what we need to do here is simply to go to CloudFormation now and check if actually our deployment ran. So if you come back here, this is the stack. Come here, and this is the stack that has been created. You can see the stack is here, and you can get every information about it, the events as a creation, the resources as we input it, everything is here, the output. These are the outputs, the parameters. Look at the one that we had to put. Look at here, key name, and I made a mistake and I put bit key name without a cap here, but the value was correct. The first one I made a mistake and I put .yaml here, which I mean as a stack name, and it did not follow the protocol, so that was not supposed to be there. And you can see the template here that we ran, and so on. So that's about it. And I can go to EC2. And you see the same the EC2 running straightforward. So if you come back here, this is the EC2 here, ball instance, and it's running. It's provided by this and it's running. And again, we can go to VPC and you see ball VPC that it created. So if I come back here and open it straightforward, and if you come here, you see this is the guy here. Okay, so that is him, that is running perfectly. Okay guys, and that is what I intended to show. I'm going to be coming out with other videos, tool stage and so on. I might come out with another one again, probably shorter than this, to give you better explanation. But this is thanks to Cloud Space Academy. That's where I get the knowledge. So guys, please do like my videos and share it. Thank you and see you. Bye bye.